Welcome to ICT 4670 Disaster Recovery and Business Continuity Planning. And this is the special Apocalypse edition, the day before we have our national election. Isn't it great that all of us are prepared for disasters and are hoping that we'll have some business continuity? All I can say in light of a national election and regional, state, etc., or state elections is make sure you vote. Someone told me that you don't have a right to complain about our government if you don't participate in it. And I think there's some wisdom there. I think it was also Mark Twain who said, wisely, I believe, always vote the incumbents out. It takes the new guys 6 months to learn how to steal. So I don't know, maybe that's too true to be funny, but I do love this country and the opportunities it has. We have some challenges before us, and so participate. And lastly, don't believe anything a college professor says about politics. That's why I don't talk about it. I remember taking a final exam. This was in the fall of 1999, right before the 2000 election, Bush v. Gore. And my professor was a brilliant engineer, quants, derivatives, hedging. I mean, he really taught me a lot. And I think he was probably responsible for all the mortgage crazy tranches and all that kind of stuff that happened a few years later. But anyway, he at that point, Lucent, which has been acquired now, but Lucent was at 32 and rising through the roof. And he said Lucent is going to break 300 and Al Gore is going to be elected president at the final exam. And so I checked on the data on both of those. Lucent went to 6 and then I bailed out, and Gore didn't win. And there are, of course, those who feel like he did, and the Republicans just had better lawyers. But anyway, that's all the politics for now. And this week, we're in probably the most important part of a disaster recovery business continuity plan that never gets done. Most people confuse the effort in putting the plan together with the sense that they have a real plan. And every time I'm asked to audit an IT shop or corporation, and I do that, I don't know, 3 or 4 times a year, that's my first question. When was the last time you had your bare metal drill? Your last emergency? What did you simulate? And what were the takeaways? What were the lessons learned? What got changed in the plan based on some of the comms issues along the way? If you don't practice, can you imagine, a football team just meeting and talking and watching film, but never practicing? They're not going to win. Even in a crazy season with a pandemic, they're not going to win. And so you've got to make sure that your company puts in for it. It costs time. It's downtime. It's the cost of opportunity when the corporation is looking or your group is looking at this issue. But it costs, as someone said, it costs, but it pays. If that emergency or that tragedy or that difficulty or that crime happens, you're in better shape for it. And so that's what this week is. It's a reminder. As my dentist always said, brush only those teeth you want to keep. In other words, back up and secure only that part of the business that you think is important. And by the way, it's all important. So keep those things in mind. Some great readings this week, scenarios for testing, the how to audit a DR, and I think you're going to see, this is my fearless prediction, companies like Chubb and others who are insuring Fortune 500, Global 1000 kinds of companies are now going to start auditing the readiness and the cyber readiness of the companies that are paying premiums to them. Just as you wouldn't let a teenager drive 80 in your neighborhood without his insurance being adjusted for that liveliness, and the little old lady driving to church once a week gets a break on her insurance, I think people who practice good cyber hygiene and audit it, and that's not just the DR part of things, but it's also the cyber resilience and preparation and defense, etc. I think they're going to find themselves getting preferred rates, and the others will be getting bum rates where they're going to have to pay more for less coverage. So keep that in mind. Auditing a BCP plan and just some of the sections of a guide to a business continuity management. Make sure, those are all links, so just make sure you read over that. Week 8 has 2 discussion questions. The first one deals with the functional exercises for DR and BC, and it's a rather long-winded question, so look that over. And the second is look at the goals with that entire functional exercise, and that's number 2. I thought Peter did a great job last week coming to address question number 2. I'm open for reservations if you would like to excel in your grade and lead us in a discussion or at least a presentation of the salient aspects of question 1, which is a big one. I'd be willing to take a couple people doing part of that, and then someone wanting to do number 2. It doesn't take long. In fact, if you walk into things before you even start studying, you'll have your slides prepped and ready to go. So, but RSVP, I don't want to have 6 people doing, the same question. So keep that in mind. We will have a discussion next week. A discussion this Wednesday regarding your paper, your big project. And again, we'll walk around the room. I'm not looking for confessions unless you need to make one. I think we're at the point now where you really got to put pen to paper and start putting things together. So let's talk about it. What's working? Maybe if you could share with your colleagues what you are doing and how it's helping, and then answer some questions. If somebody has not gotten this far, it may be good just to share the info. I want everyone to do well on this assignment. So that's the week. Keep your powder dry. Everyone is running around like Chicken Little with their head cut off in light of the presidential elections. Our republic has stood for over 200 years through a lot sterner stuff, and it will continue sooner or later to stand as well. So keep your head together. Don't listen to professors, and have a great week. We'll see you at the class on Wednesday night. Bye-bye now.